Almost everyone has, at some point, assembled an IKEA bookshelf or spent a Saturday walking through one of their giant blue stores. Honestly, you've probably lost your mind looking for a missing Allen wrench at least once. But yet, very few people actually understand how this company became one of the world's greatest, most resilient business empires. Welcome to Market Plainly. In this explainer, we are going to dive deep and reveal that IKEA is far more than just a furniture retailer. We're going to explore the extraordinary combination of corporate structure, vertical integration, logistics, franchising, and real estate that forms their absolute bedrock. To get a sense of the sheer scale we're dealing with, let's kick things off with a staggering number: 915 million. That is the number of store visitors they had in financial year 2025 alone. Just to put that into perspective for you, that is literally more than the entire population of Europe, all interacting with a physical retail footprint in just 12 months. It is massive.
So, how exactly does a tiny Swedish mail-order business conquer the globe? Well, we have to look back at its origins. It is fascinating how the founder, Ingvar Kamprad, transformed that small operation into the world's largest home furnishing brand. He did it by pioneering the revolutionary idea of flat pack furniture. By designing products specifically for manufacturing, transportation, and ultimately customer self-assembly, he dramatically reduced costs while enabling massive global expansion. Today, we're peeling back the layers to show you this masterclass in business strategy. Let's jump into Section 1, the hidden global empire. Because to really understand IKEA, we need to look right beneath the surface of those affordable flat pack boxes to see what actually drives the machine. Which brings us to Section 2, designing for the pallet. To grasp their global dominance, we first have to look at how they engineer their operational control from the very inception of a product. What's absolutely wild is how tightly IKEA integrates its entire product cycle. They achieve massive economies of scale because they basically own every crucial step. You have IKEA of Sweden designing the products, IKEA Supply AG out in Switzerland negotiating all the raw materials globally, and then IKEA Industry AB operating dozens of sawmills and production facilities to handle the high-volume manufacturing entirely internally. This brings up a really fascinating, evidence-based strategic contrast. Think about Tesla for a second. They face massive engineering bottlenecks and billions in capital commitments trying to force-fit complex vertical integration, like bringing their 4680 battery cells in-house or building complex robotics. It's an incredibly high-risk, multi-front battle. IKEA completely avoids this complexity trap. They use standard materials and a highly pragmatic approach where the logistics footprint dictates the manufacturing capability, rather than the other way around. The crucial point here is that IKEA doesn't just design for form or aesthetics. They literally design to eliminate dead space during transportation. Every single product is conceptualized to fit the exact spatial constraints of a shipping pallet. It's like a giant high-stakes puzzle. This dramatically reduces shipping costs, minimizes damages, and makes global expansion seamless. It is exactly why you can fit an entire bedroom set into the back of your sedan. And the savings from eliminating all that dead air? Those are passed directly onto you, maintaining their famous low prices. All right, Section 3, the dual foundation fortress. How on earth do they protect this massive operational engine from the unpredictable whims of Wall Street? The secret is in a revolutionary corporate architecture that's basically split right down the middle. In very simple terms, unlike traditional public companies, they enforce a strict legal separation between their retail operations and their intellectual property. The Ingka Group operates the retail stores as the largest franchisee, while the IKEA Group actually owns the brand, the IP, and the entire IKEA concept. And the kicker? Both of these are ultimately controlled by foundations based in the Netherlands and Liechtenstein. By utilizing these closed, non-profit foundations instead of issuing public shares, this structure perfectly insulates IKEA. It completely protects them from hostile takeovers, messy family inheritance disputes, and most importantly, the constant, suffocating pressure of short-term quarterly dividend maximization. They don't have to appease impatient shareholders. This grants them incredible long-term strategic control, creating a highly unified global front. Moving into Section 4, the omni-channel franchise engine. Let's see how this structure builds into a practically unstoppable revenue machine. You might think of IKEA as purely this massive, edge-of-town warehouse business. But looking at the breakdown for financial year 25, a massive 28% of their global sales actually came from digital channels. They've successfully pivoted into a fully integrated omni-channel ecosystem. So instead of competing against each other, the physical stores and digital commerce actually work perfectly together to capture modern consumer habits.
And when you analyze their real estate strategy, the brilliance just keeps going. Rather than acting as a strict landlord collecting rent, kind of like McDonald's does with its highly transactional Sonneborn model, IKEA operates what they call Ingka centers. They use the immense drawing power of a massive IKEA store to anchor mixed-use retail destinations, bringing in shopping, leisure, and over 2,500 diverse brands. This incredibly smart move shares the localized risk and creates highly stable, diversified consumer destinations. The underlying economics here are absolutely fascinating when you compare them to other global giants. Take Visa. They're essentially a digital toll collector, processing transactions with staggering 60% operating margins and zero inventory risk. IKEA, on the other hand, operates a volume-first philosophy. To clear inventory and sustain their massive manufacturing scale, IKEA recently lowered retail prices by about 10%. Sure, this caused a slight dip in nominal revenue, but it drove a 1.9% increase in store visitation. They locked in their market share and proved their undeniable resilience during economic downturns. Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, Capital, Risk, and Taxes. Because managing this continuous physical volume globally requires some incredible financial and structural optimization. Think about how global giants handle risk for a second. BlackRock uses a massive digital platform to manage $25 trillion in financial assets, running complex risk simulations in the cloud. IKEA essentially operates an analog version of this. By standardizing their entire global operation around a single data language of design specifications, IKEA can dynamically reroute sourcing and production around geopolitical shifts or raw material shortages almost instantly across its entire network of physical factories. Now, looking objectively at the verified historical facts of their capital accumulation, it's clear IKEA historically utilized a highly sophisticated, multi-jurisdictional tax architecture across Europe. The Netherlands acted as the central IP hub, collecting a 3% franchise royalty. Luxembourg was historically used for efficient intragroup financing, and Liechtenstein served as the ultimate asset-holding entity to shield operational capital. This careful capital allocation allowed them to grow immensely over the decades.
But the global landscape is constantly shifting, right? Adapting to modern transparency standards, like the OECD's Pillar 2 global minimum tax rules. Inner IKEA Group has evolved its strategy. As formal signatories of the B Team Responsible Tax Principles, their effective tax rate increased to 21.3% in FY25. They are actively balancing their historical capital efficiency with strict new global compliance.
Bringing us to Section 6, the ultimate business ecosystem. So, bringing this all together, what is the core takeaway from this explainer? Their true genius goes way beyond flat pack boxes. By layering asset-protective foundation governance, strict design to manufacturing control, global logistics, and stable franchise economics, they have created a deeply integrated loop. Every single piece reinforces the other, making IKEA one of the most efficient, dominant, and resilient companies in the world. Thank you so much for watching this explainer. If you enjoy business, finance, technology, and economics explained in a simple but authoritative way, please make sure to subscribe to Market Plainly. We'd absolutely love to hear from you. Drop a comment below sharing which aspect of IKEA's massive business ecosystem surprised you the most, and let us know which company you would like to see featured next. Ultimately, IKEA's greatest innovation wasn't just selling affordable furniture. It was designing an entire business ecosystem. So the next time you're lost in that famous blue and yellow maze, ask yourself, are you just shopping for a sofa, or are you walking through the most perfectly engineered physical algorithm in retail history?